They're mad over there.
We won't have 60 snakes in the crib.
You never know.
I think I can ever pull up to Peter's crib and he's got 60
yeah.
snakes.
Every time I go there, I realise it's just different.
Bro, in Atlanta, Cat Williams had a pet alligator.
But that's Cat Williams. I expect that from Cat Williams. Cat Williams got beat up by a
pet
15-year-old. Cat Williams got beaten up by a 13-year-old. I expect that from Cat Williams.
That's true. Still though.
That video is rent free in my head. That was
What, when he got beaten up?
It was so unnecessary as well.
Yo, by a school kid, you know. That will hurt my heart, bro.
that was like GoPro shit.
Cat
That was
Williams,
crazy.
what's wrong with that?
Yo, you know, I'll quit the podcast if that ever happened to me. If you man ever see me on camera get beaten up by a 14-year-old, I'm quitting the podcast.
But you know what it is? It's like the reality of the situation. Like you could get beat. Like sometimes I think I'm like, bro, like
Don't say you could get beat down a 14-year-old, man.
No, but I don't know.
Actually, it depends how big they are,
That's what I'm
supposedly.
saying. I was like, bro, like the 16-year-old might be able to rap me. Like I don't want to think about that. But there was the evidence there. Like yo,
from my own experience of going to secondary school, there were some wham people in my year.
Fam, if I get rapped by a 16-year-old, I'm not letting that beef die, man. That's on for life.
crazy.
No, honestly.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
honestly,
My ego won't let me
Bro,
just.
if-
I'm sorry,
I can't
man.
What's the kid back?
Huh? No, I'll just get someone else to do it.
I
Man.
can't lie for 15
Get my young G's to do it, man. Get my young G's,
bro.
Get my
Wait, for
young G's.
15-year-old
man.
bangs in your face, you're dropping him. You're
wouldn't-
dropping
I
him.
wouldn't-
You're
I need to
dropping him.
explore this. Who are your young G's?
Proper young G's, man.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ain't it
Bro, why you
evil
looking
to
at me?
live?
What you said?
Shut up. Because that's what they do as well. It's like, they interrupt me and then they're like, well, why are you still going? But what's going on, world? Welcome to episode 82 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast. We boys Peter,
Yo.
Mohammed,
Yo.
and myself, Yemi. And today we're joined by a special guest, a rapper, producer, and DJ who makes anthemic music for the cool kids, havenots, and outcasts alike. His music covers everything from hip-hop to house to UK garage, and his new tape, When Life Presents Obstacle, is out right now. Representing Elevation Meditation, we welcome the Southside Phenomenon, the Wingstop Connoisseur, Lewis Culture to the pod today.
Yeah, Yemi is gone clear with this.
That was a sick. I'ma steal that. That's cold.
Listen, man, listen. I was going through your music and I thought, listen, he's calling himself this, that, and the other. I'm going to call him that too.
Yeah.
Yemi's dangerous.
Yeah, welcome to the pod, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yo, the intro.
Well, bro,
Classic.
I don't even know what the intro's going to be, but yeah. Cool.
We'll figure it out.
If it's a mad one, you'll know why.
You've got a bunch from the pick from.
Yeah,
So you're
facts.
good.
It's been a long time coming though, man, but very, very happy to have you, man.
Yo, I'm happy
Appreciate
to
you.
be here. I feel
Appreciate
like, you know what's mad? I think I'm definitely more regularly in tune with the Instagram than I am on YouTube.
Yeah.
But like, I love both.
Oh,
appreciate it,
Like,
appreciate it.
I'm always up for any type of rap talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
definitely going to get a lot of that today, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you're welcome. Boys, how we doing?
Hey, man. Thank God, man. We're good.
Chilling. God is good all the time.
All the time, God is good, man.
Amen.
There we go.
Amen. Oh, you're not going to ask me?
How you
doing,
bro?
Yemi?
just left you out.
Bruv,
How are you,
this happens
man?
way too often.
No, last
No,
episode
in my
I
defense,
remembered, man.
Peter normally asks you, so I normally leave it.
So
to
why
Pete.
do you leave it for me to ask?
Because I feel like it's a
Do you
nice
not care
routine.
about his well-being
No,
as well?
I say God is good all the time. You lot say all the time God is good.
I should have said
Then
it
we
as
throw it
well.
back to
I didn't
Yemi.
even throw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, neglect.
How you
It's
doing,
fine.
brother, man?
Brother man.
Wait, I asked you before. I did ask you before. I was like, how are you been?
That's true.
Yeah.
But usually it's a thing with them where they don't. But it's fine.
You guys got to work on that. see?
We do,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Three
Peter.
years later.
that, bro.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm very, very good. Shout out Drake's in the cut as
Big
well.
up Drake's.
Salute to
What's
Drake.
saying, G?
Bless, man.
You said that.
You guys ready to go home already,
That's
bro?
the loudest I've ever heard you as well. But yeah, salute. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening and watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're listening on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening, big up everybody in the dunya.
Yeah.
What?
No, I just said, yeah, hit the dunya.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, we're just going to get straight to it. Lewis,
Yo.
thank you for coming once again. We have a tradition with every guest on the show that comes on where we ask them their top 5 all-time US and UK separately.
No pressure.
Now, you don't necessarily have to do it if you don't want to.
I'll
You could
do
do
it.
a mismatch. Decide how you want to do it.
I'll do it, but I can't do order.
No, that's cool.
that's
That's
fine.
cool.
Cool. Okay, UK. Oh wow. Kano, Apex, Nines, Pot of Paper. There's probably someone I'm forgetting and it's foul that I've forgotten. I'm gonna say Dave.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say Dave. Yeah.
Quite a few street rappers in there.
'Cause I think it's like, I think with like Nines and Pot of Paper, it's like the catalog.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
catalog, but also it's just like they really just live rapping. Like they really live rapping. On each tape, you can hear like how they're just trying to keep it interesting. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to, and their body of work people as well.
Yeah.
I think Dave's proven himself. Like I think if we're not the same age, he might be a tiny bit younger than me, which is crazy. He's incredible. I think Kano, like the picture that he paints, but mostly just like in the last couple years, I think like more for me. Apex, I think Apex ain't even a bias for me because you can just listen to the projects and it's all just
It makes
catalog
sense.
is just stupid. And I've seen this man record projects in a day, EPs in a day, like the unimaginable. He's on like his like work rate is like Lil Wayne type.
Yeah, facts.
So
Larry
to
June.
watch that firsthand it's crazy. So
Yeah, for context, people, Lewis and Apex are in Elevation Meditation together, and they go way back. So this guy is in the trenches whenever Apex is recording, and he records quite a lot. So that makes sense.
yeah, he don't stop. But
Who would you say is your favorite rapper out of those five?
my favorite rap. Ooh, aside from Apex, because that's just biased. That's crazy.
Because you said Kano first. I was thinking maybe Kano.
I couldn't tell you.
Fair
I
use.
couldn't say
fair,
because it's
fair.
all.
Vibes, isn't it?
It's different.
Any
it's
given
different.
day
it's
could
different,
be
yeah.
one person or the other person or
Yeah, type thing.
yeah.
But each person is a unique type of vibe as well.
Yeah,
Like,
Potter
yeah,
is
yeah.
different to Kano. Kano's different to Nines.
Yeah,
It's all different.
but they all got bars.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
They can all rap.
I think people sleep on Pot of Paper's catalog. Like Pot of Paper's catalog is.
He's got a heavy catalog.
Yeah, strong.
He's got a
And
heavy
I'm new
catalog.
there as well. Like I might have only started properly listening to him like maybe like a year or two ago. But it's just like everything I heard, he just didn't miss. He didn't miss, and it's like it's from his heart as well. And it's like, I know some people feel weird about it sometimes, but again, also because his story is like kind of like backed, or it's kind of like there's evidence for it. I feel like that kind of just adds to it as well because it's like he's the voice of his people, really. You know what I'm saying, and where he comes from, and I feel like that is it's very important, and it's very important in rap as well. You know what I'm saying, like people just knowing like right, like that person's actually from there, and
It's the believability.
100. Yeah.
Yeah,
What about your US ones?
I mean, yeah, you're right.
Ooh, Jay, Nas, Kendrick. I think Common.
Okay.
Wait, who'd I say?
Jay, Nas,
Common.
Kendrick, Common.
Common.
You think Common?
Whoa. I'm gonna say Drake for now.
Fair dues.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah,
Was Zaganyo?
I'd Common in my top 10 for the longest time as well. I mean, Common's just dope.
You still do, or?
No, not anymore.
He's in my top 15. Probably my top 15.
Yeah, he's probably in my top 15 now.
Yeah.
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 Catalog is just crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Kendrick's going to... Sorry, I don't mean to cut you
Oh
off.
shit! I forgot hella people.
But who'd you
Who'd
forget?
you forget?
Honorable mentions.
No, it's not even honorable mention.
Just replace people if you want.
Oh no, wait, maybe because there's Andre as well,
Oh,
which is crazy. Then I was gonna say Meek, but then it's just like a certain time period. Yeah, it's crazy.
Meet the most chaotic man on Twitter.
We just don't give him space. we haven't given him space to be. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, he's done some
Bro,
wild
someone
things as
asked
well,
him, is he
man.
coming to Nigeria in December? He said, yes, I'm going to be in Ghana.
did he really say that?
Yeah. Hashtag Ghana.
That's calm.
That's Americans for you.
Nah,
man.
bro.
No, but it's
No, no,
but that's
yeah,
what
it's
America. That's
It's
Americans for
that,
you, man.
But I think what he was trying to say, like I'm a spokesperson, it's like he's there in spirit.
I'm gonna be in the vicinity.
Nah, we
I'm
can't
gonna
do
be.
that. We can't do
I'm
that,
gonna be in the
man.
vicinity.
Nah,
I'm gonna be in the
man.
vicinity.
Maybe, I don't know. Oh man.
I like Kendrick though, because Kendrick's someone I've always said is gonna be people's top
Yeah,
fives.
you've been saying
At
that.
some
You've
point,
been
it's gonna
saying
be
that,
regular for people to say he's in your top five,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's starting to happen.
Yeah, I think for Lewis's generation as well, because you're 24, right?
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
But I see the difference in sort of your UK top five.
Yeah.
I can see where it's your generation, the Potter Papers, the Nines. But then when you said your US, I feel like it's a bit different because you got Jay, Nas, Common, Andre 3000. Whereas a UK one, I can see your age. Does that make sense?
Okay, we say, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I think it's a bit. Yeah, I think because, but also you know, it's kind of what you were saying before about like the sort of, I don't know, I don't want to like misquote you, but you was kind of talking about like there's not what's it called? If not, there's not many solid albums in the UK.
Yeah, we haven't. We've just
the
started
artist
now.
development as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah,
even
yeah.
for me, it was like I might have not resonated with what's it called, like some of Keno's like earlier albums as bodies of work.
Of course.
But I feel like now where he's at, it's like him like growing more into his artistry is something that I gravitate towards more.
Yeah, I feel like
You know what I'm
musically
saying?
we've just now started really, really
Yeah,
tackling albums at a music level.
trust.
Whereas before we were just throwing it out to throw it out.
100.
Whereas
I
now-
get trying our best.
Yeah,
really
I
just
think
trying
now
our best.
artists are really starting to craft their albums as opposed to before
and
where it was
even-
just
Yeah, and even the legends, like a lot of them have only really started dropping albums,
Facts.
as opposed to like mixtapes, Gets, D Double.
yeah, Gets
They've
just
now
started, yeah.
only just started dropping
Yeah.
out there back on their second or third albums.
That's a fact.
At this point,
Albums too.
albums
Yeah.
too. After like nearly 20 years in, so
Yeah.
It's
I
only
think
now.
the emphasis towards album making, it's quite clear to see.
Also there being infrastructure that is like supportive of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we
It's
didn't have
like-
that before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
know what I'm
definitely
saying?
didn't have that
So-
before. Just
And that
freestyle
was
it.
like a sort of like a switch up as well.
What do you love about Jay?
Wow. Man, that's like, I mean, just I can't say everything, but just like I don't know, there's just so many different eras that I grew up on because there's like the Reasonable Doubt, which is just like again like I don't know, like you say like him in the trenches or whatever. Then there's like the Black Album where it's like his sort of like farewell, but of course he came back. Then there's like Blueprint 3 where he's just like so into the future, but it's like he's so into the future because he's with like Kanye, and then it's like Kanye and No ID sort of like orchestrating that. I think it's just
Underrated album.
What,
very,
Blueprint 3?
very,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's got one of my
very,
favourite J.
very-
Cole verses on
like
there.
and Star Is Born.
Yeah, Star Is Born. J. Cole lost his mind on that.
Yeah, he
I
did.
need to listen to that again.
Nah, J. Cole.
I think one of Jay-Z's best verses or songs is Thank You.
Yeah,
on that album.
yeah,
That second,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I think this was the second verse. Both verses he was going off.
He was going crazy.
Off 3 verses.
I think it was
Maybe
two or three.
Yeah.
What's your favourite J album? No pressure.
Mazza. It's either one of the In My Lifetimes
Oh,
or it's crazy. I know this answer as well. I'm gonna come back to that. Wait, let me check my phone now. Damn.
What's the best in my lifetime to you, man?
What's the one with Where I'm From?
That's
Volume
The
volume,
one.
Volume
1.
one.
Yeah.
Volume 1,
Volume
yeah.
1.
Probably.
I think 1 is my favorite.
Volume 1 would be, but my favourite J album would be the Black Album.
Volume 2 is very strong though.
Volume 1
Volume
to me
1's
is better.
probably my favorite.
Volume 1 to me is my better, but my favourite J album, I've always said the Black Album.
I'm a Blueprint baby, man.
Blueprint for me as well.
Yeah.
Oh, for real. I've always loved the Black
Yeah,
Album.
I remember that
I
era
love-
like it was yesterday.
Blueprint is a perfect album.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. No, I think just personal favourite. I'm not
Wait.
personal favourite to me. Nah.
I mean, the Black Album, is very strong.
Yeah.
Very, very strong.
It's
Black Album's very peak.
Yeah.
But I don't.
It's got Lucifer. I mean, shit.
Lucifer. It's got December 4th.
Yeah?
Allure's crazy.
Allure, yeah.
Allure.
yeah. Allure.
Because I used to, when I was a kid, I used to watch the Black Album DVD before I went studio.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
no,
so-
Fade to
Fade
Black.
to Black,
Oh,
yeah.
so-
Before I went
Yeah,
studio.
yeah.
I don't know why it was that. That was like my ritual. I'd watch that and then like Ryan Leslie.
Ryan Leslie, he was hard though.
going on the mid, he's going.
Ryan Leslie was hard
That's actually
though.
banner. That's actually banner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently nothing was turned on. Or it was like recorded after. Like he didn't. Do you see
Oh,
that?
swear.
Yeah. I mean, no, he played like he did produce
Yeah,
everything,
yeah,
but
yeah.
apparently like he set it up after or some. Oh no, sorry.
No one wants to say Kingdom Come.
Nah,
Fair decent.
that wasn't his best album, man.
Absolutely not.
Oh, my best of
But
both.
then like
Never mind.
444 is also in there as well.
Mm.
But it's like, but then I think that's maybe what I'll do, and that might speak to my generation as well, where it's like I'm enjoying like the person that like they flourish into, as opposed to maybe like some of the journeys. But Black Album's out there for me as well.
Yeah. But that's what I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I'll rather see the growth of an artist. And
Yeah.
then that's kind of how I judge it.
Like the come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like Kendrick. That's why Kendrick's going to be my top 5. It's just you've seen from Section 80 to where he is now.
What's your favorite Kendrick album?
Yeah,
Fuck.
For me, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Good Kid, Mad City for me.
To me, it's Good Kid, then To Pimp, then Mr. Morale, then Damn. If I had to do it in order.
Okay.
What about you?
So that sounded mad. Ooh. Maybe Good Kid, then Mr. Morale.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we spoke a bit about Mr. Morale when it came out, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have your views changed? Wait, how would you? I can't remember how you felt again.
I loved it. I loved
Yeah,
it.
Yummy loved it.
Oh, there's someone here that don't like the album. Someone
Huh?
here don't appreciate Mr. Morale for what he is.
Yeah, I don't love it, man.
Fairs.
It's not. Yeah, it's not for me.
What element of it?
I think the musicality, the production, just wasn't really it for me, man.
Interesting.
I think the lyrically, he was always going to be there. He was.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he was coming from a very
Like
honest
he's gonna
place.
level up and
yeah,
yeah.
but the beats for me just weren't really.
What was your favorite beat on there, and what was your least favorite beat, if you have?
That's a great question.
Least favorite bit might be what's the first track on it? The
N95.
N95. I ain't
That's your
really,
least favorite?
I ain't really feel that one,
like
man.
N95?
I ain't like that one, man. I like that one, man.
Did you like United in Grief?
Yeah.
I think United in Grief, like, and I'm not.
That might be the song I skipped the most, by the way.
That
I
should have
actually like
been.
that one.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't like that. Might be the one.
I think that should have got best rap song.
Mm.
To be honest, the Heart Part 5.
Oh, yeah, I was listening to it on the way here.
It was cold.
You thought it was just cool?
It's cold. No, it's cold.
No,
it's
it's
cold.
cold.
It's good, but I think there are better songs on Mr. Morale.
United in Grief is better than the Heart Part 5 to me.
Swear.
To me.
I'd say so as well.
And also, I feel like as a Kendrick fan, he kind of cheated because the Heart is always separate from the album.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
dashed
yeah,
on this
yeah.
one, innit? Yeah.
I thought that was a bit of like,
What are we doing here?
yeah.
Wait, was
I
it
don't
on this
know.
album?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
later on.
they
Later on.
added it
later
on.
on,
Oh, okay, they
later
added
on,
it.
later on.
Okay,
After
okay,
something,
okay.
so-
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
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 You know what was the Heart Part 5? It's dope. Conceptually, it's great. The beat for me, it's a bit too simple.
What?
What?
It's a bit too simple.
Sampling Marvin Gaye. I
I
want you,
know.
bro.
Okay.
I knew that
He literally took one.
I thought
bit
it sounded
and
amazing. I
lifted.
loved it, man, because I love the song.
I thought it was flawless.
Exactly.
I thought it was
But-
flawless.
But for
I
me,
can't
it
lie.
was a bit like,
Because
okay,
he rapped
yeah,
on him, he says though. So then,
I prefer the beat. Clearly,
yeah, that shit was cold.
I'm just saying. Umi
was
says
cold.
versus that beat. Yeah.
I hear you.
Plus, I mean, that the original song Marvin Gaye. I mean, yes, I like the song.
want you tonight.
It's
It was a sick.
banging,
You know what?
bro.
It was a
What
sick
you talking
card
about,
to pull. I feel like that was
Yeah.
just a sick card.
Yeah,
to pull.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
who else is gonna rap on that
Facts.
type thing?
Nah,
I just think there are stronger songs that he's dropped since then.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Oh, 100. Yeah.
You know what I mean,
So wait, what was your order?
Well, that's. Ooh, I
had
think I said
Good Kid, Mr. Morale.
Good Kid, Mr. Morale. I might come back to it, but damn. Maybe. Ooh, man. Yeah, To Pimp, then Untitled. Oh, no, wait, but then there's Section 80 as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Section 80 is somewhere further. These are hard.
It's
for me.
fu-
Yeah,
it's
hard.
it's
bro,
not even a
hard.
fair run he's had. Like it
Ah.
doesn't even make sense when you add up his albums.
How do you feel about the? Because you mentioned Nas as well. How you feel about his recent run? King's Disease 1, 2, Magic, King's Disease 3.
I've almost given like I haven't done 3 just dropped in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've Magic. I like joints on there. I haven't really given each one maybe more than 1 or 2 listens. I think I like certain
Tracks
certain
of-
stages of
Yeah.
kind of like certain stages of Nas. Maybe I think it was written. I'm like obviously Automatic, but it was written as well. Life is Good was like a massive album to me.
You're a Nostradamus fan.
That was 99, innit?
Yeah, around that time, yeah.
I don't think I was. Wait, but I think I gave you Power
No
was
one
on that,
was.
right?
No, that was on. It was written.
Okay.
Nostradamus was trash. Let me help you out, bro. It was a horrible album.
I
man.
mean, bro.
it had
Wait,
you
what
owe
was-
me. It had you owe me
everybody
with Genuine.
Everybody knows that.
But
Oh.
yeah, but Nostradamus was
Everybody
was a
knows
horrible
he had
He
album.
knows what he's doing. He
But
knows
he
what
had
he's
to
doing.
do
He knows what
certain
he's
things. I think a lot about Nas because it's like a lot of people don't. This is kind of mad. I feel like a lot of people, not that as like a lot of rappers and especially alternative rappers, don't realize that Nas's trajectory, if not is theirs, it could be theirs. For better and for worse, just depending on how they play their cards. In the sense of like, you want to be that lyricist, but you at some point you wanna get to certain heights. You want to pay your bills. You know,
It's that crossroads.
like, obviously, yeah, it's that pressure. If in his situation he had like Steve Stout come around after Illmatic, so it was like cool. But like not everyone, you know, if you don't have that person, you got to do certain things. So again, it's like the Genuine song comes in, the Lauryn Hill hook comes in. You know, I don't know which order it was, but like, you know, trying to do like get the pop samples in. You know, you got to make certain moves. And
I think he had the pressure of having like Jay around as well, and
doing what he's doing.
Big, he was around the time Big was alive as well, and they were like.
But
I feel like what you're saying, all the rappers have that kind of cross.
That's quite interesting. I've never seen it like that.
But particularly, I say particularly Nas, because it's like Nas is such a goat in this, and he's who a lot of people aspire to be, but they might not know maybe necessarily some of the trials and tribulations that came with being a Nas, because it's like, you know, he's had highs and lows and almost had to like claim it back in certain ways by doing certain things, whether it's like, you know, even think this era is very much like he's in his bag with Hit Boy, because Hit Boy is like facilitating the Nas that people want to hear. And then No ID was doing that before, and like, you know, it takes certain people to bring that out of you. And I feel like even over here, it's like, it's the same thing where people, you know, people can be the rapper for so long, but you got to switch up at some point.
And I think that's why like
for your longevity as well.
And I think that's why like your first look is very important, man, because if you come out the gate like as a rapper, you kind of might have to like stay within that mold, and it's difficult. I think it's difficult to break out of that after a while, because if you start there and then you want to try to do something else to chop the sound, man, it's very hard.
Especially now, you either stay in that lane or you try to expand, and it might not necessarily work out for you. That's why a lot of people stay in their lane. Like even today, like a Blue, a Homeboy Sandman, a Larry June, they stay in their lane because they know that's what they're good at, and the music is always going to be good anyway. So,
is that something you thought about when you made Smile Sound System, like with regards to that?
You know what's mad with Smile Sound System? It was like I was rapping before that, and I'd done a project before that, but it was like under a different name, different time, everything. So Smile Sound System was really just like a reflection of me just like going clubbing all the time, and I don't know, I kind of just fell into that. But it was quite a weird card for like my first project, because it was more about electronic music than actually spitting. So then that's why on this project I'm just spitting, and just like it's all just about rapping and bars, and also having a project which is like autobiographical, because Smile lacked that. And I did hear someone saying like, someone criticized one of my bars, like you saying something, but like someone criticized my bar, and I was like, oh no, they thought I wasn't rapping. Okay, cool.
He's like, let me show these what I'm about.
It hurts sometimes.
Do you feel like you had to kind of reinvent yourself with this one?
No, I don't think reinvent. I think just like it's kind of weird, but sort of just like stand my ground. I think just remind people like, yo, like I rap first. I really do this type of thing. Yeah. So,
but where did the influence of wanting to make that first EP come from? Like, what were you listening to like growing up and stuff? Outside of rap,
I think, you know what, UK Garage was like a big one. So like my mum had this double disc of it was like these CDs called Pure Silk. It was like a compilation album. And so yeah, that was in the house. And then obviously, you know, like think growing up like British, just like, you know, what's it called? Eric Pride, the whole like David Guetta era as well.
That was a mad era.
Yeah, then you've got then there's like Azealia Banks. Then like, you know, Vince Staples does like Big Fish Theory. There's like, you know, so
much going.
And just again, it's just like think you're like Black British, but then also like the European influence as well. Top of the Pops, Mojo Lady, just banger. So again, it's just like all those things, and and also like going clubbing. Then Parallel, who's also in Elevation Meditation as well. He's a DJ. So like I'm going clubbing with him like every Friday, Saturday, Thursday, whatever. So I think all of that just and also just wanting to reclaim like sort of electronic music, because again I think that's something I'm big on as well. Like I'm a rapper, but I'm also an artist that I'm a black artist as well, and that covers everything. We should never be boxed
100%.
into anything. No one should ever even like question us when we're doing something different. Like this is ours, you know what I'm saying? But we also do it to each other. So it's like I think, but for me, I think I was kind of lucky to grow up with, you know, the Andres, the Kanyes, the Pharrells, the Khaleesi's, and just know that I could just be myself, and it doesn't have. There's like, I think you're 5 years old, and I'm 5 years old, and I see all those people. I'm like, I can do anything.
Yeah,
there's no like lane you have to take.
Yeah, it was like the biggest barrier in my back. So I kind of to answer your question, I probably give it to them.
Yeah,
and then everything else as well. Yeah, to know that like, oh, I can do this too. You know what I'm saying?
Is that what made you want to pursue music? Just seeing those examples and seeing those people that you kind of grew up on? You kind of became your heroes.
Yeah, I think it was that, but I think I've always just been a hip hop head, and like my godmother as well. See, my mum's got this funny story. It was like apparently, so my mum had like a really what's it called, like a really bad pregnancy with me, and she was in hospital for I think maybe the whole 9 months, if not a year or something.
Oh,
and what's it called? My godmother came, or my godmother now, she came with a mixtape and had like Tribe and everything on it, and apparently I like turned in her stomach.
That's
So
amazing.
that's kind of the whole. I don't know if that's my birth story, but so in a sense, and then again, I've been like, I used to go Virgin Megastore after school and shit when I was like anywhere from like 5, 6. So I've just been consuming music, CDs, everything forever. It's just always been around me and like in the house. And my mum loves music as well, so yeah.
That's interesting, man.
And rap, and poetry as well. That was in school. That was like a key point where it was like, okay, I started practicing writing, and then I think that combined with being a hip hop head is where the music came in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously you've spoken about like, wanting to reclaim like electronic music, dance music for us, as we, without us, none of this shit exists. I mean, being from where you're obviously from Battersea, same places, So Solid and that. Did that, or did any of these influences kind of influence the way you wanted your music to sound? Because obviously you're a hip hop head as well, so there's that element. Like, what went into that?
I think I think street rap's always been important, because again, it was like it's been like freestyles forever. Just like, again, yeah, like, people pulling up instrumentals. I wouldn't even say ciphers, but again, like I always grew up in that. So Solid's influence was actually less on the music side and more on the visual side, because they was the first people with like big budget videos, but also I think they had like the responsibility of like showing you like Black Britain in like a cinematic way. It was like I think they did have a Hype Williams directed video. I don't know, it was one of them. I can't remember which one it was. Someone told me that.
Was it the one with the Audi TT?
I think it was that one. Yeah.
I can see that.
You can see the angle. Yeah. But
Of course, people would know.
That's actually crazy.
That's a rare ass fact. Because I was saying, I think, because what happened was when I done the Culture 17 video, I was like, yo, I'm trying to put together like, what's it called? Trying to put together like So Solid and Hype Williams, and it was like, yo, Hype Williams did the So Solid video. But yeah, that's like the Ono video for me is like forever playing in my mind as something that's just like, yeah, it's just like a, what's it called? It's like it's just an inspo forever. It always, yeah. It's like on a mood board forever type shit. Yeah.
That makes sense, man. So when you first started like making beats and rapping, like, what was that like? What was that era like?
I was good. I'm not gonna cut. One of my first beats was.
What software did you use?
Man. I was using Fruity Loops for like almost 10 years. When I was at youth centre, I would record on Logic, but then I was making beats on Fruity Loops, and then only recently I've got into Ableton.
Ableton's another language, man.
It is, but once you hack it, it's so good. It's so I do recommend it to pretty much everyone, like 100%. Yeah. Wait. Oh yeah, I was cold. So, you know what it was? One of my first beats was Sneak Bo used for his Fire in the Booth.
Oh, is it?
Oh, swear.
When I was like 13 or 14. It's crazy.
Whoa,
and he never told me either.
That's actually kind of nuts.
I just found out after, and it was like...
Wait. So BBC took your beat?
No. I sent Sneak Bro the beat, and then...
Oh, right, okay.
And then I think we was in like ICT or something, and I'm just going through One Extra's YouTube page or whatever, and I'm like, oh, shit. Or my boy told me or something like that. And then... Yeah. But then we met later on, and like...
That is dope.
I'm in a Sneak Bro video with Grizzy, and this is before like Look Like You came out, which is like a classic. If no one's heard it, or again, like, give Grizzy his flowers. Please give Grizzy his flowers. That's what I'm gonna say.
That's crazy.
As far as
that's
Joe goes,
nuts, as a story.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Imagine being in IT and you just pull out Fire and next thing you know it's your beat. Do you know how wild that is?
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because with me, like, obviously, like, we've known each other for like a while now.
I never told you that, sorry.
You never told me that. But here's the thing.
I forget it sometimes. I'm like, oh shit, that happened. Yeah.
Shit, if I was you, I would never forget that. I'd be telling everybody.
Yeah.
I can't even lie.
That shit's
But
mad.
I've always kind of seen you more for the rapping, and I suppose I've just neglected the fact that you've been producing your beats this whole time.
Yeah.
But now, like, especially with the new tape, like, it's becoming more and more clear. So obviously the production is like so like upper level as well. So it's like
I did more on Smile than I did on this one. I mean, in different ways. I think this one was more like executive produced or like producing, like standing back in a way like maybe just like maybe more arrangement or putting people together. Whereas the last one was like me and Pablo, like very hands on pulling or Pablo.
Shout out to Pullen.
What made you want to produce? Because you always had the rapping inside you. But what was it that kind of led you towards producing?
I think it was Kanye, and then it was also I think just like the idea of an MPC or the idea of like a beat pad. Because when I was a kid, I had this music toy, which was cold when I think about it. I don't know where my mum found it or whoever found it. It was like a whole like music workstation where you could plug in what was it? You could plug in the aux and it would play the song off your iPod or whatever or your MP3. Then it had like a drum beat pad, and then it had like a keyboard that came out, but it only played like one sound, and that was like the whole thing. But it was like it's like it's a kid's dream, but it was the maddest toy ever.
Yeah.
And I think just messing around with that, and then by the time I got to youth center and actually was in front of the equipment, I just started like
You already had
like blacking out. And my mum's cousin gave me Fruity Loops when I was like 10, and then that just changed everything really. But I think it was really Kanye, and a lot of my production I think comes from him as well, or looking at him and also what he adds to beats as well. So yeah,
I hear that, man. And on the rapping side, like as you cultivated your kind of style, like were there any particular rappers that you were studying or like really like peeping game from?
And I left him out of the top 5, and I shouldn't have done that. Lupe Fiasco is the reason I started rapping.
Okay.
So I think just his perspective kind of just resonated with me because it was like the idea how he was like someone I think he was from the south side of Chicago, but he didn't fit the narrative for what people perceived or what people would later on perceive or know about south side of Chicago.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was sick because I felt like in my environment I was sort of raised in the same way where it was like, you know, I wasn't necessarily like everyone else, but I wouldn't say I was outside like that, but again, I was there, you know what I'm saying? So I think that was a person I resonated with, how he was very intellectual, but he was coming from this place. And also like he's also just ahead of people in a lot of other things. He was one of like I think Virgil actually designed his first brand, Lupe's first brand, before he was working with Kanye, and they had a radio station together as well and stuff. And he's got some history. One of the first rappers to wear a go yard. Lots of deep references. But yeah, he was incredible to me, and that was probably one of the first people when we want to start rapping. Then maybe Jay as well is up there. Actually, yeah, Jay's definitely, because from even like the Fade to Black DVD, that was like just watching that, and that's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you were rapping under a different name. When did you become Lewis Culture?
I'm going to ask the name. What was the name?
I can't do it. Yo.
I wasn't even going to do it before.
It's mad because oh man.
I see people start YouTube with their old name.
Yeah, it's
is the stuff still on YouTube?
Yeah, some of it.
Oh, swear.
Was it good?
I was. Wait, I can hold this now. No, I was rapping in an American accent.
Okay,
that's most UK, but I feel like mine's actually documented. I think that's how we met.
Yeah, I think I remember it. I'm gonna let you say it.
Yeah, so like I was rapping in an American accent, and it was a lot of things. It was sort of like a sort of like identity crisis type thing, but it was because like I had American family that I wasn't exactly in contact with, and then when I became in contact with them, it was like a pride that came with it, and it happened that a lot of them was in Chicago, and it's like think Lupe Fiasco and Kanye and everything. So I came back here and I was like, yo, and as well you got to think the alternative black artist wasn't established here yet. It wasn't until like Master Shorty and Tiny came through where it was like you're seeing like weird black kids for the first time. So I think all of that combined was, and that's also why this project took so long to come, because the project that I'd done under that name was like my Illmatic or my autobiographical one, but because I can't claim that, because again it's a bunch of like stories about Battersea in an American accent, I can't, so I kind of, I think I'm actually oh damn, that's crazy. I'm happy.
So how did you break out of the accent?
Because
I would have
taken. To be
taken
honest, you know what's mad?
time.
So I started rapping with Sims, and Sims was telling me, and it even got to a point where she was like, yo, I can't vouch for you no more. She tried and she was like, I can't really vouch for you no more. And also once I got the project out of my system, I was like, oh, like mission complete. Because it was like, I've done a body of work and I know how to make a body of work as well. And then after that, I just left it and just started going under my real name and all that.
Has she circled back since?
No, I saw her recently and it's all love. It's all love. So
yeah. So like the old project was kind of like shedding skin in order to evolve as Lewis Culture, and obviously definitely. The culture title obviously makes a lot of sense because you aim to represent a lot of cultures. So as far as like hip hop goes, as far as electronic music goes, so I suppose it's something that is very like it envelopes a lot of what you like and what you rap about, what you produce,
and just like life as well. I think like the upbringing that I had, I was like very fortunate to just like my school was like very multicultural. My mum's friends were like very multicultural. And just very accepting as well, you know what I'm saying? I think, and that kind of speaks for London as well. But I know that like, in certain communities, it can be a bit like segregated and like class and all this type of stuff as well. But like, I was lucky to kind of see, like a broad range of sides to it. And I went to hella schools as well, so it kind of worked out for the better. Yeah. Or I feel like I can hold the name culture without it being cringe. Because I started using the name when Migos had.
Culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like,
so like 2016,
But I held it, so
it worked.
Yeah.
So as an alt kid growing up, where did you find other alt kids? Where did you meet other alt kids? Where did you cultivate communities, cultivate culture?
And what does alt even mean?
I was just about
to
ask that.
Man, I think it's kind of mad. I think it is just it's kind of a summary word. It is kind of a summary word, but I think it's just kind of saying like, I think sometimes we can actually not realize that not only how much of the narrative we played into, but how many other people have hands in our narrative. And I'm talking about just as like black people and as black artists and things as well. So it's like, I think to some like that, it's like like as a example, it's like normalizing the idea of like a black opera singer. Right. But that's because that's strange to us because we've been conditioned to think that we can't exist in those spaces. So with to me, it's kind of just means like, I don't even want to say more open-minded, but just
outside of what's being
a break from the norm. A break from the norm.
100%. Yeah. So
outside of the stereotype.
Literally.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So where did you go to meet other like-minded people?
It took ages, man.
Hold on. Before we get there, how did you? I guess I'm thinking back to like when I was young and just like seeing people that were different from what the norm is, and I think it would take a certain level of bravery to kind of own that difference.
You have no idea
that difference. So how did you get to that point where you were able to kind of own it?
It was me. You know what it was? It was me and my two of my day ones. There's Chi and there's Umi, but they grew up in Sydenham. So I feel like this is the thing. Southwest at that time was cool. Obviously, there's like Battersea and Junction if you know what was going on. But again, like I think us having each other because it was like we came from this environment. Then I don't know. I think. Wait, sorry, what was your question again? It was like
how were you able to own it? When did you get to that point where you were able to own that? Because it's not easy, especially being a young black boy around that time in the hood.
You know what it was though? I think backdating that is like growing up and like seeing, and this is we spoke about this in the first interview we ever did. It was like there was certain elders that kind of showed me, that kind of like not only showed me like how like it's so weird, like showing me like how sort of misleading the whole, I wouldn't say like the hyper masculine thing, but like the road thing was, and like the things that your parents have to go through because of these type of things. That it was never glamorized to me, even with the cars and the jewels and the Gucci and all that shit. It was never presented to me as like,
this is what you need.
Yeah, type of thing. Yeah. So, and I feel like I saw the consequence. Being a kid, I saw the consequences of that, as opposed to just like we're celebrating. It's like like feds, newspapers, all this type of stuff in it. So there was that, and then I feel like, and then my mum just trying her hardest to just bring me out of the area. Like I didn't come from like again, my mom tried her hardest, but we didn't come from like a rich background or anything like I don't know how to word that properly. But like, yeah, but literally she'd just take me on like journeys on the bus to just different places and see different things. And that was her way of, and she was kind of an alt kid herself as well. She grew up in Tooting, and that was also part of her journey. So I think that nurturing. Then when I was older, it was like me and my two friends as well. We was like, that time we was listening to like Bow Wow and Chris Brown and stuff. And then
that was an era.
Yeah, and then like Soulja Boy comes out, and then so it's kind of just all these things. But again, it's like it's all America, and then it's like cool, Tiny, then Master Shorty, then like I would say then maybe like House of Pharaohs, and then like the jerkin wave, and then the jerkin wave coming over here, and it being like all the kids from like Southeast London are like the brightest dressed people now, and then. So it's like a slow wave of like the tribes like being established because it was never here before. Then it's like Odd Future start coming over. Then ASAP start coming over. Then Pro Era start coming over. Then you've got then the black kid breaks off. He finds which tribe he kind of fits into most, at least for my generation. And then it's like cool. You make your first rap videos, or you again your BBM name's got like a V in it or whatever the fucking shit. And then. Yeah, and then you start being yourself. So that's kind of how it happened for me. I think, like my two boys I grew up with, like I think us just having each other, I think that was just like a massive thing. And then I think me and Apex was like a massive thing as well because he grew up in Bush, or like White City Bush, and he was going through the exact same thing where it was like he grew up in ends and he kind of just got bored with certain things that was going on and it was never like glamorized to him. And then we just started going parties and going studio and my friend Josh as well, who introduced me to Apex. So yeah.
So as much as there was like an explosion of music, culture, and all kinds of like different type of like obviously you mentioned like Pro Era, ASAP Mob, or Future, all that stuff. There was also like a switch in mindset, and I suppose that just kind of allowed the kind of seed to grow.
There wasn't even too many of us. Like even now, like when I see certain people from ends and out, I'm so happy to see them because like we all know like how far we came.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying. I'm sure you guys have those moments as well. It's like, yo, bro, you're here. Like we're here. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, I feel like it was sort of a gradual thing. It took time though. I remember a time when I was like, man, I remember there was this one party I used to go to and I used to see there was like these skaters. I was like, man, I wish I had a crew like that. But again, it just took time, and it took time, but also. Yeah, it just again you find your tribe when you find them. So
yeah, that's dope.
Type thing.
So,
as far as Elevation Meditation is concerned, like where did they fit into this mix? Were you meeting up with these guys and cultivating relationships with them around this time as well?
Yeah, that's what. Because so I've known Parallel since he was maybe like 10, 11 years old. But he was, I think there was like maybe like a 1 or 2 year age gap between us. So we didn't really start chilling until maybe like 15, 16. So yeah, so like I'd known him because again he was on the same thing. He was just like again like an alternative black kid that was just like doing his thing. He was producing, engineering, co-managing at the time. He was doing everything, just like the Boy Wonder, literally Boy Wonder, just doing everything. And then
dancing as well, wasn't it?
Huh?
He was dancing as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was gonna leave that out.
Hey man, listen.
Because you know what it is? No, wait. Oh, he danced in the video. Now.
He danced in the video as well.
Cool. Because he owned it. Because there was a time when he wasn't trying to do that. But So that happened. So he's literally he had a bunk bed. He had like one of those one bunk beds, and then he had this little studio like his MacBook and that under him was recording people, and then when I met Apex, I brought him through to Parallels. We've actually got a song. One of our first songs together was actually with Cat Burns. She was on the hook.
That's lit.
On a J Dilla beat.
Oh wow.
She said the Dilla remix, which is the video that's shot in Damn. I don't know if you've seen it, maybe. But that was our first song. And from that's how EM sort of started. And then Parallel went to school with Finn. Finn went to school with Zav. And Rick Creefer was around at that time as well. It was like another man. He used to do like the podcast and stuff like that as well. And that's how we formed. We just started chilling on weekends. And shouts to Seshi, Mr. I'm Next as well, because he was the first person to sort of like book us. And
musically, obviously you're building all of these personal relationships at the time. Musically, like obviously SoundCloud was doing its thing as well. I'm sure you were dropping music on SoundCloud at the time. Like, did that help you cultivate any kind of community as well?
Yeah,
at the same time?
It was like I'm an idiot. Actually, I'm not an idiot because it happened on purpose. So I deleted my whole YouTube channel by accident when I was like 14, 15. So then I had to start again. And then for some reason I was like, oh, let me just put this on SoundCloud. And then that started the whole SoundCloud thing. And then I was like dropping music on SoundCloud. And then that was around the time I met Apex, who was already like quite established on SoundCloud at the time. And I kind of credit him for almost like bringing me into like the more alternative scene, because he was part of like a US collective. He was like the only British rapper that was part of US collective. Hence why he has such a massive fan base, because he already had like the base. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think linking up with him was like a massive thing, because for the things that the UK lacked at the time, or that the UK was not paying attention to because it was too early, he was able to sort of like introduce me to like another space, or we had each other in that space where it was like we was able to support each other for the things that we might have not, no one else could do for us in a sense.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of like brotherhood began there. And that was kind of a key moment. But yeah, SoundCloud was like 2014 to 2016, SoundCloud was crazy. Popping off. Maybe 17 as well, actually.
Yeah, 17.
And then everyone was like, nah, we need our dough. And then streaming came into the mix.
Do you miss that era?
Yeah. I miss the... It's not something... To be fair, some people still sort of like participate in it, but it's not as...
Yeah, the community isn't really there as much anymore.
Yeah, I wish people... But again, a lot of people are in like contracts and stuff where it's like, why would I put a song on SoundCloud when I can get the bag? Which I completely hear. Again, especially if you're trying to live... Like, most people should be trying to live off music or live off something they love, so... I hear it, but that was cold. That was cold. Yeah,
I hear that, man.
Yeah,
I remember the first song of yours I heard was "Don't F Up Lewis."
Yeah,
and that was like what? So we obviously had our first interview like 2017 times.
That was like 2016. Yeah,
that was 2016, 2017 times.
Because wait, we got in contact through Lily Master, innit?
I think so. Yeah,
that's mad. Yeah.
Shout out Lily for that one.
Well, shout out to Lily.
Sure, man. What do you remember of that time? Because obviously, I mean, at the time, obviously you've been making the music for a while, but you know your name's buzzing a bit. I mean, like
that was mad, because I don't know where that fell into it, but my boy passed, like my childhood friend, and I ended up back in ends because again I would always try to stay away from like just certain things that were going on, all this type of stuff, and so I ended up back in ends, and just to kind of, I say deal with the whole situation, but again, it's like, you know, we're all around again, as you are when someone passes and this and the other. So I was very much like back in the ends, and so I feel like that song was sort of, it's sort of like a key point for like what was going on then. And then after that, so I feel like after that song came out, that's sort of like when my name started kind of getting out there. And then at that time, I think I met you. I think Apex just met like Truce and Skinny of Bone Soda, and then they started showing love, and they kind of brought us in to like Boiler Room. They brought us into Boiler Room, then they sort of like anything that they could do Bone Soda wise, they helped, and then they had me open up for Slow Tie, and like I think it's like first EP release or something, and the director Ram as well. He was helping that time. He directed the Spliff in the Morning video for Apex, and then James Messiah booked me for my first Boiler Room. I headlined my first Boiler Room in 2018. So I feel like, and also I want to say it's just like shout outs to them, but also I feel like having brothers like them in those environments as well, they was able to see the mission that I was on, which I always kind of like big them up for, and you as well. Just like kind of just seeing the mission I was on to, or the person I wanted to be, and always standing by me. And I feel like that was also a key point as well. Like kind of going back to what I was saying before, there was like a lack of facility, and then once the facility was there, people was like, cool, like we got you, don't worry about that. And Lewis as well, that manages Slow Tie, Lewis, Levi, and Alex as well. The rest, they was instrumental as well.
Yeah, I remember you were in the North Nights video. Slow Ties North Nights video. You were just there, like
yeah.
Man.
I was yeah, man. I was shy as hell in that video, man. I was too early. But that was also that happened around the same time. That was a big moment as well. And like Ty showing the support, and Yeah, all them lot. So there was a lot of key moments that kind of thingy. But also as well, just like the music kind of going in a different direction that people hadn't heard before. I feel like that's kind of, I knew that, especially coming from doing like all the stuff under the other name, I knew that once I did it like this, there was no one that could do it like me, because also no one had like lived the life that I'd lived. You know what I'm saying? Because it came, again, like with going to all the different schools and my mum bringing me around all these different places and trying to open up my mind, I knew that my perspective was like fresh.
Did you know what sound you were gonna have, or the sound that you were aspiring for?
It took a while, and a lot of it also took like the parallel sort of like him figuring out himself, and then maybe and Apex. Actually, no. To be fair, sorry, the whole of EM kind of like maybe figuring out things and chiseling their thing, because I had this thing. I have so many different sounds, but I feel like only just now am I sort of, because Smart Sound System doesn't entirely represent me, but I feel like with this project, I'm like, cool. If you want to get to know me like this, I'm not gonna. I don't think I could be misunderstood with what I just put out, which is very what's the words? Not settling.
It makes you unpredictable for sure.
But it's like, I think it puts me at peace. I think it puts me at peace now. For the time being, obviously I got to strive and shit. But yeah, I think I'm at peace right now, or not at peace. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
You're content with it.
I was gonna say that like it would be very difficult to box you in. Very difficult, because I listened to Smile, and that was my first introduction to you, and then I heard the album, and then it kind of caught me off guard. You know what I mean?
It's a weird way to start.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, because I think I got like loads of analogies for it, but it's like, it was like I almost started off with like an 808 or something. Yeah. And then now I'm being like, wait, I want to tell my story. It's like,
I think I was saying it to Yem when we was walking in, and I was like, I don't know what he is. Like, you can't. He's not a conscious rapper, but he speaks conscious sometimes. He's not an alt rapper, but you get the alt vibes of the production.
You know what? I think it's a very important song of yours that kind of laid the groundwork for Smile, Culture for 17. I think with the video, I think the way the beat is, I think it made it very clear that you are capable of like switching up at any time. And that's why for me, Smile Sound System didn't sound so much of like a left turn, because I feel like I've been watching you and listening to you do this stuff. So, but I also, with the Don't F Up Lewis, When Life Presents Obstacle makes sense as well, because you're kind of doing a similar thing, but better.
Do you know what's so tapped? When Life Presents Obstacle is actually finishing the project that Don't F Up Lewis was almost originally on. It was like it's like, because again, this project is like contractually like an EP, and it was worked on by PS as a EP. So, but again, I'm a body of work person. I'm 24, I'm almost 25, and I haven't told my story yet. So I'm gonna treat this like my album, and I speak of it as an album. So again, I'm kind of coming back to that. The person that was doing like Don't F Up Lewis and this and the other, that's what the first half of this project is. It's me still being an ends and like navigating the situation but narrating the situation. And then the second half is like me coming into myself now. I feel like Grime is like the middle point where it's like the maturity is coming through. And it's like, so that's sort of it. It's sort of like that thing.
Yeah,
timeline in a way.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, in the most roundabout way. I feel like it's a
but that's what I'm saying. It's so messy how the whole thing's like.
Yeah, it's like
it's like Don't F Up Lewis, and then but that never made the project, and then I had to go. Then I did the Smile thing, but it was Don't F Up is funky, so it's still there, but then it's not. You know what I'm saying? And then Culture's sort of like what was it? It was sort of like Missy Timberland, So Solid, but then very London as well. So
yeah,
it's a lot.
It very much is a mismatch of what you are and who you are as an artist. Like, and even though this kind of origin story of When Life Presents Obstacle comes at this point, it's also, I feel like, a good point to drop it as well, because I feel like now, especially now that you've dropped Smile Sound System and all of your outside music endeavors as well, like you're at a level now where people are looking at you a lot more. So they probably appreciate the origin story now, as opposed to maybe if you had dropped it first and then Smile Sound System second.
Yeah, I mean, and as well, like, respectfully, like, not... this thing is still it's big, but it's still quite small in the sense. And I think, you know, parallel always reminds me that as well. It's like, you know, how many people haven't heard me yet? How many people are yet to hear me?
Yeah.
And also just how many people in the population. Like, think there's so much to conquer. I've barely toured. I've only done like a UK tour. I've done a few shows outside of London. There's still so much, so much to do. So
yeah, facts. But that comes with like growing with your artistry.
Yeah, no rush.
Yeah, of course. I mean, for what you've done so far, I mean, you've done bits, man. And the sort of people you've been around with as well, like, so far so good, I'd say.
Word. And that's also another thing as well, which I'm thankful for, because even going back to where saying like finding your people, finding the alt crowd and that. Yeah. Pardon. Damn.
Very good.
Got me. But like now, now there's now in London there's like an overflow of that. If you want R&B, there's an R&B artist. If you want all R&B, if you want a what's it called, a black rock band. Obviously, there should just be a rock band. But if you just want a rock band. You can probably find an opera singer if you want an opera singer now. You know what I'm saying?
It's never been as the scene is flourishing now more than ever.
You know what I'm saying? And everyone's got each other everyone's got each other to an extent, and even if they don't, there's a mutual somewhere, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? So I look around and I'm like, bless, it's cool.
For sure,
and outside of London as well. Sorry,
sure.
There's so much going on outside of London that we forget sometimes.
Yeah, but I think that just speaks to how young the scene is generally. Like post 2014, post all of that stuff, like the scene, and there's still a lot of new artists coming through as well. You just mentioned Cat Burns. Cat Burns has only now become like this industry darling.
She
and this
put in you know what I mean? The work. She really, really actually put in the work.
Yeah, people don't appreciate how much work people like yourself and people like her have put in over the Sims as well. Sims has been dropping for
time. Yeah, Sims been time.
Sims been working. Even Skepta to an extent, like he was dropping for time as well. So
like 20 years in. Almost 20 years.
Skepta.
I think Skep's always been that guy though, man.
Yeah, like
Skeps was always that guy to me.
In a sense,
as soon as Skeps came out in 2004, I want to say, he was always.
But to the wider population.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's a scene as a whole. The scene as a whole is only now coming to the forefront of the wider society in general.
He's goated differently, man. It's crazy.
He's
Skepta.
Yeah.
Yeah, Skepta's definitely goated.
And that just production at times as well. It's stupid. Stupid.
How do you feel about the scene, just in general? As far as how, maybe even how the mainstream treats like the underground artists or the alt artists. How do you feel about it?
I think it's cool. When you say how the mainstream treats them,
or how they look at them, because I feel like sometimes the mainstream can kind of box underground artists and alt artists in like a particular realm.
I think personally, I don't really pay attention to it, but I think honestly, I think it's not that deep, because there's always going to be one person that either gets it or is going to champion you in that space. You might not always be fortunate enough to have like the perfect entrance or the perfect like A&Rs or this, that, the other and that. But there's always, I feel like I always have faith there's like one person that kind of, because I feel like that's what Yemi was for me. Like when I was coming up, I was like, yo, like, he gets it. I was like, bless, he gets it. And I feel like that kind of drove me at a certain time to just keep doing my thing, because I was like, like, you know, these other man, they might, not to bash anyone else that was like bigging me up early and shit, but like, I think, you know, I think it just comes back to certain people from your community or certain people with that kind of grow up with maybe the same influences or the same particular angle to, so I think, but wait, are you saying like, as to where it's, as like, is it healthy where it's going?
Yeah. There's that, and I feel like someone like a Sims, right? For me, she started off in that sort of alt world. I'll place her
100%. Yeah.
And it took her a minute before it seemed as though the mainstream started kind of opening their arms out to her.
Nah,
so I feel like there's a bit of a.
I think it got to a point they couldn't deny it.
I think that's what it was.
They had to like it was that real. It was like they had to just stop capping, because it's like when she locked in with Inflow. Yeah. It was like, you lot just need to stop fucking around.
Because that's what
America got it. Think she went to America. TDE took her in as one of their own and was like, yo, like, we fuck with this. Just like straight. But also, and also like she's a very like independent person as well, in the sense of like she's never waited for a cosign or anyone to vouch for her. She's very like I'ma hold my own. Like, thank you, but I'ma hold my own. Even like with the label situation and stuff as well, or from like, again, from what I know. But yeah, I feel like with a lot of alt artists, you kind of have to get to a point where it's like, nah, like let's just stop capping.
Yeah, I feel like they can't deny your words.
At the same time, though, I think that's quite empowering because if you think of Sims, if you think of Koji, if you think of Nux, these are people who've been toiling and doing all this for such a long time, and they've been growing artistically to the point where they are undeniable. So if anything, it's helping them.
Yeah.
The fact that they're able to find their own lane, find their own identity without, a label or what the mainstream might see or might expect of you to diminish them. So I think, if anything,
the force is needed.
Yeah.
The force is needed.
Yeah.
Is that not the force to be reckoned with? Or is it the other way around? I don't know.
Yeah, force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it in your project.
No, I don't.
Everyone's got a force to be reckoned with. There's always going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I might have said that. My voice and shit. My boy be quoting me and I'll be like, I said that.
But yeah, I mean, I see it that way. Like,
No, it's a good thing because the mainstream can push people to the limelight quicker than they need to be. And I feel like that's why we get a lot of the music in the mainstream that we get today, because it's very much, all right, you're hot, let's throw you in them. Whereas the people that you, the Nazis, the Little Sims, everyone else that's doing it differently, you can see
you establish something.
Yeah, because you can see the authenticity in your music by the time you lot come. Because we know about you guys, but by the time you get to the other side, there's a different kind of authentic feel to the music.
And you don't even have to necessarily get to that side where the mainstream love you. Think of Apex.
Facts.
Apex is worldwide, pretty much. He's not no mainstream darling, but he's doing his thing.
But he's a darling in his realm, though.
People don't even understand how natural this shit was. I think, if I'm correct, he had a sold out show in New York before he had a manager. Before he had a team.
Yep.
And sold out all the merch that he brought with him. No one done that. Like, I'm sorry, I'll go off
with
on
no
that.
cosign.
I'll go, bro. I'll go off on that. Like, people don't understand the amount of work that he put in by himself to get to where he is. Him just literally just literally trapping music out of his bedroom, if not Parallel's bedroom. Like, it's going hard. And and any studio that he ever went to and you sent in this and other, like, man put in the work to be that person. And I feel like that also put a battery in my back as well, to just be like, yo, like, it doesn't really matter how people what's it called? Yeah. Like, again, waiting for like a certain scene to kind of take you on in this and other. Just make the music and let the music speak for itself.
Yeah, the music speak.
And everybody's definition of success is different.
Yeah, fact.
Very so key.
Yeah.
So key.
Sims might not have necessarily wanted this, but she got it anyway, just through the power and the will of her music and her skills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
just come as a byproduct.
That's a very key. What you just said is like a very key thing in rap as well, because it's like, you never, like, it's a very bad habit in life as well, and like Instagram and social media culture, to look at other people's success and kind of like weigh yourself with it. But it's like, no, like, everyone's journey is meant.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for them, and you could never put yourself in anyone else's shoes. You wouldn't really want to. You just want to be you. So, yeah,
100%, man.
Facts.
Going back to Smile Sound System real quick, how do you see that project now? It's been out for a couple of years now. Obviously, you've got an interesting relationship with it. How do you see it now? Today?
Would you do a part 2?
Wait, would I think of part 2?
Would you do a part 2?
Wait, would I do a part 2? Oh, like, again?
Yeah.
It's jokes because I feel like I've got one on my phone. I've literally got one on my phone, but it's like, I think it's cool. I think, again, it's like, it was part of my youth. I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I didn't like the second half that much. I feel like we sort of like lacked in the second half a bit. We didn't go as hard as we could have. And and then I feel like I made up for it on this project, where I feel like everything's well rounded. It's a good listen. You can do the whole thing. But yeah, I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of what we accomplished, and how the music lives with people. I think that's a massive thing to me as well. Like how and the visuals. So yeah, I'm proud of that. But I learned a lot through that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I hear that, man. 100%.
What was your biggest takeaway from it?
To not do the second half like you do the second half. And,
I like the second half, man.
Yeah, I like the second half as well, to be fair.
Yeah, Peace came through, did his thing.
Yeah.
Noel did his thing as well.
Yeah, R.I.P. Noel as well. That happened recently.
R.I.P.
Noel.
R.I.P. man.
But yeah, yeah, I think the execution of the second half production and arrangement, I didn't have the skills yet to kind of like perfect it the way I wanted to. But Yeah, I think just learning how to do a project better. Yeah. I think was like the main thing that I took from it, and a lot about production as well. That's always been like a progressive thing.
Yeah, man. So fast forwarding now to when life presents obstacle. I think one of the first things that struck me from Good Will Hunting was you.
That was a
just pulling on that.
That was an intro, boy. That was an intro, boy.
That's all. I can't lie. That's all like Nines pot of paper. That's the warm up session I never had. That's exactly what I wanted.
See what you mean.
That's the warm up session I never got to have. I had a Rap City freestyle, a Rap City TV freestyle. This is what I'm saying. I didn't tell you anything. There's a Rap City TV freestyle with me in the middle of Stanley. Mega Man did the intro, so he gives me the cosign and he lets me rap in an American accent. But anyway, I'm a cute. But yo, big ups to Mega Man. I think
a legend.
The fact I can't lie, I saw him recently in like a yard shop, and the fact that I know him still spins me out. I'm like you're the blueprint, and you like.
He's the guy,
especially
man.
coming from where you're from as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the documentary?
No.
There's a channel on YouTube. There's a Channel 4 documentary. They've cut it in parts, but you should watch it. It's amazing. And anyone as well, you should watch it. It's cold.
But
it's all based. It's literally. So they're mostly from Stanley and Badrick, which is like 2 blocks in Battersea. And the youth centre that I used to go to is in front of, or they moved. It used to be like near in Ethelberger, but it moved, and it's literally like in front of behind Badrick and behind where the Ono video was as well. So.
Yeah, Mega Man is like, pioneer, man.
You were posted right by culture and history.
That's crazy.
Right there.
That's crazy, man.
Random ones, but it's not out. It's not there no more. So,
fair.
That thing.
Fair enough, man. But yeah,
actually, that's a good thing. It's not out there no more. I can't lie, but
I mean, yeah. I guess if you know, you know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. With Good Will Hunting, especially, like, other than it being like a great song, the first thing that struck me just from that in general was you saying, when I think of what's important, do I count my life? Unpack that.
Oh man, it's just like just questioning, like, do I look after myself? Do I prioritize myself? Sorry, I was just on the phone for a second, but like yeah, it was just that. It was just that real. And I think the thing about like working with Pullin as well, like we're both from Southwest. We come from like similar backgrounds and that. And so like I think there's like the things that he's gonna bring out of me as a rapper and as an artist is just different. And I think the way that beat spoke to me, I just went off. And but yeah, it was deep. It was deep. And also just tell again, like there's bare things I feel like people can take away from that they didn't know about me before.
Facts.
So yeah.
Like your real like what's going on in your mind more so than like you know the beats or whatever. I remember speaking to Pullin at your launch release party, and he said he wasn't sure about the beat because it was so different for him.
What?
It was so different for him because
I never knew this.
He told.
I want to hear Yemi land with this. I
said to him like, bro, that beat is stupid. He was like, thank you, but I wasn't too sure about it at first.
What wasn't he sure about?
It's different for me.
I'll tell you why I wasn't.
He's
because
bugging.
He when he showed me, he kind of brushed it off, and I was like, you mad? You know, when people just don't know what they're holding on to. Straight away. And it was like, I knew. I don't know if I knew it was the intro straight away, but I feel like probably by the time I recorded it, I knew that I was like, cool. But Bezel was actually the first one that I had, and then the project's actually built around Bezel. But I
think I've got my notes. My phone's there, but Bezel was my favorite song on the album.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I heard it on the notes. Bezel's definitely my favorite.
That was
Bezel's fire.
Oh, it was recorded in Bow. No, it wasn't. No, it was made in Bow. My boy was living in Bow at the time, and I was like, well, it was kind of like, what would Dizzy do?
Oh, swear.
That was literally, I was just like, what would Dizzy do? That's why it's like 232 bar verses. I was just like,
just going crazy.
And I had to write because I left the studio with just the hook, and then I think at the time I don't know if I wasn't being hard on myself because I had to be hard on myself. As soon as I left, I was like, I was like, the fact that I left studio and I didn't do the verse, I was like, I have to make the best verse now. I have to, like, I can't. So as soon as I got on the train, I was like, writing everything, and it just.
Yeah. Well, what's typically your process though? Do you have to write with the beat there, or do you write?
I think, to be fair, with I kind of just let it flow how it comes. But at the same time, it's like if I'm going into a session, I don't really want to be the person that leaves with nothing. And also, I think coming from youth center as well, where it's like I used to have like a 2-hour slot every Thursday I think I had an hour slot every Thursday, and then it went to 2 hours. I think that sort of training like taught me a lot of just like how to write quickly or just always to be prepared. But then obviously over time I've had the privilege of like being able to nurture it and get more studio time and that. But yeah, it ranges. Sometimes it's a beat, sometimes it's like placing it on the beat after, sometimes it's making a beat from scratch. Yeah. All
Does it depend on if you produce it or not?
Wait, does it depend if I mean not really, because I'm like finding beats of mine now and I'm like, oh shit, that's okay. Like forgetting I made shit. So it kind of I think
Did one of those beats make the project? The ones that you kind of forgot about?
The naked Grime. The second half of Grime, I actually...
You lost your mind with that one.
Yeah, that's my favorite tune.
Safe.
Yeah. That beat switch was like disrespectful.
Flawless.
That's my most Kanye moment in my production ever.
Okay.
Because that's what I felt like. I felt like Kanye on the MPC, and I actually made it for the Grime was actually the second half is a trailer for Naked that I'd released, and then I just found a beat later, and I was like, oh, that just fits. So that was literally, it wasn't a throwaway, but it was like something I found the words.
It was a cold beat switch.
It needed to be longer though.
Man,
I needed that to be longer, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
What would wait to like another chorus or another verse or?
I think another verse.
Ooh,
I think another verse, man.
Okay,
Yeah,
I hear you.
I didn't want it to stop, man.
Because the storytelling kind of begin or like it flourishes. Whatever. Yeah, I hear that. Fairs.
Yeah, that first beat switch needed to be a little bit longer.
Yeah,
just hold out a little bit.
The video was dope too, man.
Thank you, man.
I mean, but we spoke about it before we started recording and that.
And that was gonna be my question. Like, shout out her. I mean, I was thinking to myself, like, what the hell were you thinking of, like, when you made that beat? Because Grime is just like stupid. Bezel as well. Like, there's just enough of them.
First, I mean, no. So Bezel's a producer called Max Frith, who is like, he's sort of like the hidden talent of this country. Different, different, yeah. He's just so techie with it. Grime.
You've worked with him a few times, isn't it? Before.
I have, but I think this is the first song we ever dropped. Okay. This is the first song we've ever dropped, though. Yeah, and then Karma Kid did the first half of Grime. Yeah, just both just super talented. But then I feel like I just tapped into certain things. When I listen to the Grime beat, I hear like it's like Dilla, Kanye. But then it's also like Kate Trinada, and it's also like Jungle, not Jungle the genre, but Jungle the group. Pardon. So, kind of like flipping all those together, and then again, and also like just sort of like how would Q-Tip like again? What would Q-Tip do? Hip hop's always like it's always on my mind. So it's like, what would Q-Tip do? What would Talib do? What would most Miss Fat Booty? You know what I'm saying? Like all these how am I gonna chat to her? Because I had the brand
or like Tribe Can Find a Way, or like Love Movement era Tribe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm really digging you, like what you saying, but like what's my best cards even type of thing. So and just like admiration for women, just full stop. I feel like there's certain points on this project where it's kind of just like, I hope they know how much I'm in awe of them at times. I say at times, that sounds crazy. Like, you piss me off, but like, no,
shit sometimes. You can say it.
Hey man, but like,
Pete, you want to call sign?
What's that supposed to mean? but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you can hold it.
It's cool.
Yeah, me by yourself there.
Hey, but
I love an argument. You know me.
That's a damn fact.
Wait, argument or debate? I feel like a debate.
I mean, the debates usually turn into arguments anyway, so I just turn them into arguments.
You're loaded already.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hear that.
Yeah. Fairs. I love telling people about themselves.
How many songs did you make for the album? And how did you narrow it down?
I feel like only maybe two or three didn't make it.
Okay.
Wait, I'm trying to think what's the last songs I made as well. Grime almost wasn't on there, which is crazy.
Oh, wow.
Swear.
Yeah, Grime almost wasn't on there.
You were thinking of changing the name of the song as well, weren't you?
Yeah, because I thought everyone was going to be like, oh, it's not Grime. What else? Oh, Together almost didn't. Together was part of like another album. Was like part of what was going to be... I was working on another album for like the whole year. And then only like last year, August... This is where Parallel coming in with like the wisdom. He was like... again, I was about to do another experimental project, and he was like, "Nah, you might want to lay the groundwork first before you dive into this one." And I was like,
I see your
and
vision.
it's low key the best advice I got, honestly. I came to him with like a more like indie project. I was like ready to go there and that, and he was like, "Nah, you might want to just go through this first." So yeah. Oh shit! So you're saying about like how did I?
Yeah.
No, I feel like I had it. I feel like I had it, and like I knew exactly what I wanted to say, so it made it a lot easier. Only took maybe 1 or 2 songs didn't make it, or I didn't finish them properly how I wanted to. So
the album was quite short as well.
yeah,
It was like 30-something minutes.
Yeah,
like that.
But I feel like I don't even know how that happens. You have like 10 songs, and it still ends up being like 30. But I think,
I personally like that though.
I feel like it slows down a bit after Bezel. Because I feel like the first 4 songs, they kind of go.
You mean as far as tempo?
Yeah.
As far as tempo, yeah. So it means it feels like they're
but
maybe shorter than they are, but then it slows down a bit when it gets to like Kinfolk and after.
And but they're also, I think, because the first couple were like 1 minute, 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then Bezel I think Bezel and Kinfolk are like the longest songs on there. They're both like 3-4 minute songs. Yeah. It's, you know what's mad? It's not intentional, but it's so mad because I think there was something in the music industry where it's like everyone's, again, the attention span change and that, and then, but yeah, that is interesting.
It's digestible though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the point of like attention spans and stuff. I feel like people get a very good picture of who you are.
Yeah, that's what, definitely.
It was weird because like I didn't feel like the songs were like
I
didn't feel like the songs were like mad short, but for some reason the combined time was quite short.
Yeah, like 10 songs, 30 minutes. It's not 60.
I didn't really deep it. You know, I didn't really deep it was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't because I feel like I got a picture of you, a picture of what you're about, a picture of where you came. Do you know what I mean? Like I figured out who you are on this CP. So with me, I was just a case of where I never really. I'd done listened to it about 3-4 times, but I was never really clocked how short that EP was, to be honest with you. Yeah. Until you said it now.
You wanted to ask about some of the more conscious lyrics as well, didn't you?
That's sort of like mission complete for me, thank you.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't really a question. It was just more when I came with Yemi, I was like, he's not a conscious rapper, but there's a lot of conscious bars.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really a question more, so it was just more of a, but I've got it from the interview today, kind of how you view yourself.
I think it's that, but then I think it's also just like coming from like maybe the school of Kanye and the school of Kendrick. It's like the way that what's it called, the way that they package their messaging, and that it doesn't, you know, there's no reason why it should be. You can package it however you want to package it. You know what I'm saying? It should never be too. Yeah, like just be creative with it. I think that's the way that I see it. Like and as well, because the project's about me, kind of just like, again, I got a lot to say, but then it's also like, how do I say it, and how do I compact this message? That's a lot of what I learned from them, and also the people that they collaborated with as well over the years. Like certain directors that are coming with more, that are maybe more skilled in that area, or coming through in a different artistic way, or like the role that maybe like Common plays in Kanye's career, life. Albums, you know what I'm saying? How he pops up on like Late Registration and he'll come back on this verse and that verse, and or Malik Youssef, if people know about him. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm trying to do as well.
Yeah, because I feel like it's a fine line between
big facts.
Don't say it like that, man.
Really though.
True.
Because I feel like it's a fine line when you talk conscious.
Do you know what I mean?
No, he said
he's
it like
a troublemaker.
No, he
Don't mind him,
He
man.
knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, we knew what he was doing.
Them man were important in them early
Oh,
albums.
100%.
You know what I mean? Consequence, all them man.
Trust.
No, shout out Consequence.
Consequence doesn't even say.
shout out.
We're not about to shout out Consequence, but you know what? Let me shut my mouth.
No?
Let me not shut my mouth. Let me know if it's disrespect
No,
Consequence.
early Consequence, come on.
Yeah.
You're right, you're right.
And
You see
Sahai and Big Sean.
Oh, shout out to
for
Sahai
sure.
the Prince.
Oh, yeah.
And Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're still waiting for that Q-Tip Good Music album, aren't we? Probably won't get it now.
Good music, is good music still a thing?
Nah, it's not
Yeah,
happening.
I thought not.
It's
No.
not happening, man.
But an amazing time which had a massive impact.
Amazing,
Sorry,
for sure.
that was a like I was 10 when My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy came. No, 12.
Yeah.
Changed my life. Because it was like
phenomenal.
a whole other level. I was like, oh, that was like another. So it's like the 5-year-old me going like, oh shit, and then that comes out, and I was like, oh, it could be this. Cool.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Facts, man.
How did you link up with Bow?
I was really just a fan. Honestly, I was really just a fan. Like obviously, like we knew each other through music and this and other, but what's it called? Everyone around me listens to Bauer, and if they don't, we recite his bars or something catches us. It's just like, again, just cold with it. But the art of rapping is hard. And he's such a G as well as a person. But we actually, the first time we met was actually the 7 a.m. shoot, if I'm right.
Oh, for real?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like we've been talking before that, but yeah, that's the first time like we that's the first, if my memory that bad, maybe. But like, yeah, that's the first time like we proper like kicked it and like reasoned with each other and that. But like, and also like he's again, like the reason he's on 7 a.m. is because he's a person that wears his heart on his sleeve, and there wasn't a better person that could have kind of spoke that realness that. And we both found out we both used to work at Waitrose. And like, you know, that early morning shift is real.
Must have been life. Real. Must have been life for you.
Yeah.
That's a great segue, man. What
that
area
is a
of
great
London
segue.
do you think has the best MCs?
How would you do that to me?
I'm sorry,
that's
man.
a great study.
We ask
Don't
every
even-
Because that's mad though, because like think about that, right? Because think, whatever I say, I might not, like I can't really go home.
So
That's mad. I mean, no.
should I tell him what happened with Ohio?
Go on.
Wait.
So we asked for Ohio the same thing.
Yeah.
And obviously she's from South.
Yeah.
She said North.
She whispered North, innit?
And then she ran away.
And then she ran away.
No one could give.
She literally left the room.
Don't give your opinions.
I think Cyan Anderson. I don't know if Cyan Anderson answered that on the pod.
Oh, you know what? Wait, no.
Yeah.
I think I've already answered the question. So wait, who was on my list again?
You had Kano, you had Potter, you had Nines,
Dave,
Ooh, you might have answered already, you know.
So is it more North?
and Apex.
and Apex. You know what?
David Stretton.
It's everything.
No.
Is he not Stretton?
White City, West.
Oh, swear.
So Apex
So
is
he's West. Nines is Northwest.
Yeah. Kano's
Kano's
East.
East.
You've
Kano's
literally
East.
got one for each.
You've got one for each.
David South.
You've literally got one for
And
each.
then
That's crazy.
Potter's
East.
Potter's East.
Potter's East.
So you've got
So by
Northwest.
that-
So you got. But to you, who has the
That's
best rappers?
really interesting.
That's crazy.
Because it's
You got
like
one of
they're
each.
all like, they all. I
Yeah.
feel like they all speak best for where they're. Facts.
I like that though. You didn't even me to do that. And you done that. That's actually kind of wavy.
Facts.
I like
Based
that.
on the fact he's got Kano on the list,
You need to relax.
he feels as though East.
Who do you
has
feel
the
like
best
has the best
MCs,
rappers?
innit?
From what area?
Yeah, but Kano's just
You know
like.
what's mad though?
you know
Not,
what I mean?
like all bias aside, I still kind of feel like South, and I'll tell you why. Because there's, whatever. There's Dave, then there's Stormzy, then there's Section. There's bare people. There's Shay Lingo.
Credit Connor from South.
Shout. He's from
Conan.
Ends as well. Like we said,
Credit
the
Conan.
same
Yeah.
facts.
Flahio.
Gigs,
Cool.
Broside
Miss
G's,
Banks.
so solid.
You're not finished.
We can keep going, man.
I mean, we could do North if we want to.
But North is
No,
kinda
North
peak,
is
though.
mad. I'll
Sims,
never disrespect North.
Skepta.
North is disrespectful.
Rich.
Cool.
We're enough.
Cool. So I respect all them, man.
You need to.
Say,
I
London,
wrote
London.
a piece for Trench recently about why this debate doesn't really matter. in
Yeah, I
the
saw
grand
that.
scheme of
I
things.
saw that. And then, do you know how?
But-
imagine
but-
he wrote
No,
the
it matters,
article.
man.
No, imagine
But
he
it
wrote the
matters.
article
But-
and he asked guest every episode.
It matters. No, he don't ask. I ask.
Well, first
I like
of
that,
all-
man.
First of all, I linked our discussion in the article, so now people can click on it.
Oh, okay, good.
A, and then B, I picked up South the most in the article.
As you
so there was
should.
ulterior motives
As
there
you
a little
should.
bit.
But you know
As you
what,
should,
though?
man.
You know what I'm saying? 'Cause obviously, we gave you road rap, we gave you drill. You know, Rodney
Talk
P
about
told you
it.
to drop the American
No,
accents.
Talk.
No,
Talk
shall I be
about
honest
it.
with you, bro? Do you know what it
You
is?
know what? Bare people was telling me. Bare people was telling me. But I feel like I had to complete the mission. That's
I'm
true.
so glad you dropped it, dog.
That makes sense, though, man.
Yo, I'm so glad. You know that hurts my heart when I hear that, innit?
It's difficult, though, man.
But you know, it's weird.
Oh,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
we had that period where
But
everyone
that's the
forced
thing,
an American
mine's-
accent.
Mine's documented.
Yeah.
So it's a bit mad. And it was like internet era. So it's like you could, whatever.
Yeah, but how old was you?
I was, I think, maybe 10 to 16.
No, you can't hold
Yeah, that's
that issue.
understandable.
We can't hold that
Yeah.
issue, bruv. Like,
Because we had like rappers before Rodney P who were older than you doing it.
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's what I'm
Do
saying.
you know what I mean?
From 10 to
So-
16, if you was rapping in American accent, I
Yeah,
don't think you
man.
can hold.
But that as well, where it's like, again, like the lack of examples. Rodney P's cold. What is that? The London Posse.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it's also when you
cold.
the lack of people that were kind of
Yeah.
around. Because from 16 to 24, that's when it really boomed.
Yeah,
But there was a period where all you could catch us on was freestyles.
Yeah.
hundreds.
Or you could catch us on Westwood,
Facts.
SVTV. We weren't on Bar Channel U.
Literally.
Think you catch these man on MTV back in the day?
Lit-
In
I
what
mean,
world?
some.
Yeah, but it was like
Yeah.
very few.
Very,
or far.
very few.
Like 21
Yeah,
Seconds
yeah,
is the
yeah.
first song that I saw when I think these man went to the mobile
Mm.
and then nobody else went to the mobile for like another 8 years.
That's so
Do you,
crazy
not
when
mobile
you think
side.
about it.
Was it mobiles or Brits?
I mean,
One of the two.
I mean, Akala was there. 03, 04, like obviously, I think
he's North, right?
Northwest.
Is he?
Kalashnikov as well. I think he's North as well.
Yeah.
And
we got the greatest lyricist of all time.
No, you don't.
Wretch 3-2.
See,
I feel like 3-2 is Wretch is the best lyricist that's ever come out of
Wretch's
UK.
wordplay is just.
I don't think there's been a better
It's
rapper.
unreal, isn't it? But
I
I think Gets has an edge.
Wiley is in my UK top 5.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Like it is.
But then I even say Skepta. That's a bit mad. Still, I didn't even think about Skepta. That's a bit mad.
Top 5 is very limited though, man.
But he actually no, he might not be my top 5. They both might be honourable mentions, but they're both. But then they got,
do you know what it is with them? They're more.
That I live by. Though.
They're more Mount Rushmore, if you get what I mean. I feel like they're Mount Rushmore. The Skeptas, the Wileys are Mount Rushmore.
Wiley as an MC needs more respect.
As everything.
Does he?
But it's just like it's hard times, isn't it?
Yes, he does.
I believe so.
But Wiley deserves more.
Yeah, of course.
100%. But it's been a rocky few years, man.
Yeah,
that's
That's to say the least, bro.
And he's more well-rounded than a lot of them.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Idris Elba, Sean Paul, Stefan Don. He's also got songs with Nicki Minaj and
No, you're right.
all of Daniel's people, the dancehall Donnies.
That is Daniel's gang.
We went from
Daniel's gang.
He went from I Eat All the Pies to collaborate with Sean Paul and that.
That's Daniel's gang.
Wearing my Rolex.
All of them ones there.
The Roll Deep catalogue.
Even the Boy Band on. He got a couple Boy Band on songs as well.
His verse on Morgue? Come on.
No, Wiley got busy. I take it back. I generally do take that one back. I was mocking it. He got busy.
Fair enough. Might be a very a question you've heard before, but do you have any dream collaborations? People that you just want to work with, or just be in a studio with?
Producers and rappers.
Producers and rappers. Sample would be cold. Labyrinth would be cold. Because you don't even people don't really give them his flowers, but they should.
No, they don't.
Bruh, there's this girl called Asha that's in a group called Sorry. They're like an indie band. I keep saying I'm not really gonna drop her next project until she's on the project. She's just that cold. Who else? There's definitely more people. There's DJ Dahi would be sick. Steve Lacy. Steve Lacy, of course. Like the keys. I don't play any instruments in it, so I don't. So like the idea of there's certain keys that I love and things he goes in. James Blake. Yeah.
Who would you produce for? If you could.
For?
Who do you think you'd lace?
It's interesting.
Unleash the flutes on him, Lewis.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. To be fair, in future, I just want to work with more singers. I think that's something that I'm passionate about. Yeah, because again, it's just coming from the school of Kanye, or just that being a big inspiration to me. The fact that he did You Don't Know My Name. I'm just I swear down, that's a possibility. I want to do that and all that. And,
it's a top 10 year beat.
Easy.
So peak. But,
he laced John Legend with some. Yeah,
he's given John Legend
phenomenal music.
Yeah, he's given John Legend a few.
Wait, I think will.i.am produced Ordinary People.
Was that will.i.am?
Was that
will.i.am?
Yeah.
Why did I think that?
Come on, let's do that.
You know, I thought that was Ye all this time.
Man.
I'm pretty sure, right? Or did he just write it?
I give everything to John Legend to Ye, by the way, until I'm proven otherwise. Until I'm proven otherwise, everything that John Legend sings is Ye.
That has to be Ye. That don't sound like will.i.am.
Right, I'm checking the song credits. I mean, it says John Legend produced it.
We don't believe that.
Okay.
Oh yeah. If William Adams is will.i.am, then he wrote it.
Okay.
Yep.
Co-wrote it.
Okay.
Wait, wrote it or produced it though?
John Legend produced it. So
John Legend could
I
produce.
can see John Legend producing that because it's very it's piano led, isn't it? So do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
will.i.am did co-write it though.
Oh, salute to will.i.am, bro.
Yeah.
Salute to will.i.am.
Yeah, will.i.am's very talented, man. He's laced
salute
game with some nice beats as well, man.
Salute to will.i.am, man.
Yeah, just a bit of a cornball.
Not many people in that time.
Why did you just say the
not a
show?
lot of people
Nas
know.
as well.
Yeah, that Hip Hop Is Dead album.
Hip Hop
Yeah.
Is Dead.
He did a lot of that.
Forget About You. He
Oh
done
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he did, didn't
yeah.
it?
With Chris at
Yo,
the show.
no, people sleep on him.
And oh no, that was Kanye. Was it that Dreamin' joint? Nas and Kanye.
Yeah, he did
Nas and Kanye together was kind of
Yeah.
peak, you know.
But they disappointed us on the
didn't
Nazir
disappoint
album,
us,
now,
no.
man.
They didn't disappoint.
That was the 7-track thing.
You didn't like it?
I don't understand.
It was too.
What's that?
Everything was too it was too fast. It was too fast, and it was. I think the things were being deemed as like sort of abstract, and it just it wasn't
Nah,
that.
man.
Cop Shot the Kid was cool though.
Yeah, that was fine.
That
Cop Shot the Kid was
that
fire.
Yeah.
I think the one with you know the song Education, that same sample, the one that Kanye used. Yeah, I mean it probably could have been better, but I think generally as a project.
Oh, what? Freddie Gibbs' Education?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, used the same sample. But yeah, I think I enjoyed the album and I still do.
But you're a Nas like disciple.
I've never heard.
Can I just say I co-sign that you are a disciple.
And that's fine. I'm a Tupac disciple, so I feel you.
You are a Tupac disciple.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm a Jay disciple.
Wait, what's your favorite Nas album?
I'll say Tupac
Did you say
more.
earlier?
No, you, Pete.
Ooh, my favorite Nas album. Okay, Illmatic is a bit of a cop out, even though it is.
Yeah, of
but
course.
outside of that, damn, it's either
Yeah, he looks like a Stillmatic guy.
It Was Written or Magic.
Oh, you'd have to spit the water back in.
Ooh.
You say
Bro,
it was,
Speechless or Magic?
I thought you were gonna say It Was Written.
Bro, nah, man.
Yeah, it might be Magic still.
What he did on
Nas,
Speechless, bro.
It was written was peak.
Yeah,
No,
What do you
It
think
Was
of
Written.
Wait,
I think I Am is very underrated as well.
Yeah,
do you
you've been
wait,
saying
was
that.
Black Girl
What do you think of
Lost
Free?
on It
King's
Was
Disease
Written?
Free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was phenomenal.
Fire.
I thought King's Disease Free is
There's
absolutely phenomenal.
So I didn't necessarily.
King's Disease 3, the one that just
Yeah,
dropped.
bro.
I need to listen
To me,
it,
it's
yeah.
phenomenal. I
didn't like. Nas.
I don't think it's better than Magic.
I don't think either.
Magic was clean.
Bro,
was
Magic
very,
was
very
different,
The
clean.
beats
bro.
on KD3 have grown on me, but Magic.
Yeah,
I
bro.
mean,
Chef's
a
kiss,
song
bro.
like Speechless.
Yo, how is it a guy?
Any album with a song like Speechless is already.
Fam.
I'm not saying Nas got better because I don't think that's the case.
Meet Joe Black.
But do you know what it is for a guy later on to do a
16
full album?
billion.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is for a guy
The Truth?
so later to come with a
Yeah,
full?
I don't know
We're
how
not
many
giving him-
MCs have done that. They've
I don't
kept
think
that
anyone's done
high
this.
level. No, Black Thought from the Roots.
What,
He's
four album run
revolutionary.
come back?
True.
I'm
Oh,
saying-
no,
he's
but
still
I mean,
in
as
his
far
I'm
as
bag.
saying to-
his
Still in his
penmanship.
bag.
No, but I'm saying
the
to-
levels of his penmanship.
I didn't say Nas disappeared for a while. I'm not saying he did, but to come back and drop 4 albums like this, King Disease 1, 2, Magic, and the third, I don't know if I've seen this before.
But do we-
Like, this is the third, fourth
But
peak
do we
he's
make
going
a big
through.
deal out of this because Nas has been criticised for certain albums in his catalogue?
Regardless to me of what you want to give it to, you have to give
No,
it
I'm-
the flowers.
I'm just asking
But
the
I do
question.
think that's the case.
I think
Yeah,
it's,
we
I
definitely-
think it's
Because we don't look at 444 as out of the ordinary, if that makes sense.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's
that's
because of
true.
the whole beats
Exactly.
thing,
The-
isn't it?
I think the vulnerability
gave a
was
whack bar
more
about
like
it.
was the more like shocker than like he can put an album together at this age.
No, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
the
that's
run
the fact that he did what we wanted him to do, linked up with one producer,
and just
and
stayed there.
started making banging music.
I still want the
Is that
album
what
with him
you
and
really
Primo,
wanted from
though.
Jay?
That'd be crazy.
Okay,
From Jay-
'cause
From
you know
Jay,
what's
Jay's
mad?
always kind of gave us everything.
what's the
I
question?
don't know if you ever read this article, but someone said like it wasn't it was they sort of the headline was like how like Nas ruined hip hop, but what he was saying is up until Illmatic, he every rapper always worked with one producer.
I've read that one.
I think I've heard about that as well.
And
It was a crock of shit.
Who wrote it?
It was poppycock.
Look at Yemi.
Do you remember who wrote
Boulder
it?
Look at Yemi. See where Yemi's getting upset from?
Yeah, do you remember who
He's
wrote
like,
it?
he's
I don't
like,
remember
he's like that journalism.
You were the custom
right
writer
now
as well.
is Garbage.
I think I might have quoted it when I saw it. I think it was.
Yeah,
I feel like he might have been an okay player.
It probably came across because of you.
Yeah.
I think.
It probably did.
I think someone had written about it on the Independent. I think it was Roisin O'Connor. Shout out to her. And she basically, I think she quoted a quote from that article, and I quoted the tweet saying
what?
that argument was bullshit because
God damn.
where do you think it was going? Where do you think hip hop was going?
It's
Like,
you know
Like,
what,
did you
it
think
is-
everyone's gonna stay with one producer for the rest of their life?
One
Like,
clip.
let's
No,
be
but
realistic.
bro, they were
Word,
super
word.
producers.
No,
man.
but
let's give the argument some attention, right? If there were super producers, bro, we hadn't seen it by that point.
Can we really call them super producers at that point in
Bro,
'94?
them man.
Primo
Wait,
was a
wait,
super
wait, wait,
producer.
wait, wait,
What,
wait,
for
wait,
what they
wait,
were
wait,
doing for
wait,
East
wait,
Coast
wait,
rap
wait,
and
wait,
this,
I'll
that,
interject.
now
I
and
think
then.
Primo's
Let
a
me interject. This is
super-
what I know.
Primo's a
I think
super
this is it.
producer.
So I get what you're saying because you're saying like
They were shaping like
Yeah,
what
like-
we would know of the 90s
Like,
sound, bro.
I
This
wouldn't
is what he's
call
saying.
them
He's saying
super
like they was in the
producers,
trenches and they was doing
Not at
like
that point.
40, 50 beats a day, making a sound. They building the blueprint, but then at the same time they wasn't like really bringing in like the instruments yet and all this other type of shit. Is that what you're kind of saying? Like, they
For their
wasn't
time,
as
though. I'm talking about for
well-rounded
their
yet?
time. Not
Yeah,
for
I
not
mean-
for
No,
what
but
we
what
would
Yemi's
learn.
saying is it was naturally always gonna lead to where it's gone.
And what I'm also saying is,
I don't know if it was.
What I'm also saying is in
And also there's, like, the
'94,
beat
I'm
maker
not
versus
sure
producer as well, which
Q-Tip,
is like-
Pete Rock, Large Professor, Primo were super producers by that time. I feel like they were just prolific producers.
Who live?
But that's what made them super, though. the people that they were producing for and what they were giving them. Yeah, I don't know if outside that album we would have seen bare super producers on one album, because even if you look at other genres of music, bro, we weren't seeing that. Like MJ was just working with Quincy, like Prince was just working with Prince. Stevie Wonder was just doing his Stevie Wonder thing. He weren't pulling Quincy and saying, "Yo, come do this for me." Prince, "Yo, come do this thing for me." We weren't seeing that across genres.
I don't think that makes them super producers, though. I just think that makes them prolific producers.
No, I'm also talking about the collaborations of multiple big name producers on an album.
Yeah, in that regard, it changed the game.
Let's forget the super producer title.
But to say that he ruined hip hop because of that is what's bullshit.
Okay,
I was going to say, by the way, if you mention who Stevie Wonder's producer was, so you're crazy.
He produced most of it himself.
I don't even remember what the. No, it wasn't that deep.
Huh?
Well, I mean, the original one, right?
I'm surprised.
How?
It was something along that.
Wait.
Who knows, man? But yeah,
it's irrelevant. I don't know.
Yeah, Berry Gordy doing this shit, but
that's all good though.
Yo, did you hear what Peter just said?
No.
Stevie Wonder used to produce his own music.
Why are you so sure?
Yeah, he did.
Well, because he's blind.
I mean, that will play a factor.
Nah, man.
I mean,
when
you're blind, your other senses heighten.
I'm not denying that.
Fam, he had a whole album called Inner Visions, bro.
So now
what do you think that is?
you're telling me now he turned into Spider-Man.
It's a paradox.
I'm rude. Yo, Yemi, I like that one. I like that one.
Don't dap him, man.
But yeah, no, I'm so fascinated. So wait, Stevie Wonder used to produce all of his stuff?
Yeah, at early stages you had like Berry Gordy that was doing a lot of stuff.
So wait, he went blind and turned into Spider-Man with his super senses.
None of this is making this. This edit job could be mad. But, yeah, cool. All right, so you said, so to bring it back in, you said South London got the best MCs, and you also said you'd like to collaborate. You like to produce for singers as well, right?
I like to produce for singers. South London has some great MCs, but I think I go back to what you were saying before. The argument kind of doesn't stand. It's just London. I couldn't really do an area.
I respect that.
Because again, like. Everyone in London has done so much.
Facts.
And my whole point of the article was to say, like, yo, even if you've got your own side, they've all kind of combined and they've kind of worked together to make the scene what it is.
Facts.
Listen, that's all beautiful, innit? I hear you, what you man are saying. That's all lovely. I love it. I love the solidarity. But when I ask that question, I'm talking about spitters. I'm not talking about anything else. Success, artistry, bars, lyrics.
Can I say something as well?
What part of London has the best MCs? I'm from South. I say East London.
Can I just say something, by the way, though? When I say Tottenham produced the best rappers, I'm talking about one borough, like one postcode, N17. I'm saying no postcode has given you better rappers than Tottenham. Because if you give me East London, where's Kano from?
East.
What part?
I think he's from like East Ham.
Speak up, my friend.
Look at Daniel.
The East London correspondent. What part is he from?
I think he's from East Ham, you know?
Just tell me what part he's from, Kano. I actually don't. Where's Kano from, bro?
The Massia London is what you...
No, that's what Tottenham is. But where's Kano from? No, where's Kano from? Where's Kano from?
From Newham.
Where's Huss from?
Newham.
They're both from Newham.
Yeah.
They're both from the borough of Newham. Is the borough of Newham? They're both from the borough of Newham. Is what you're telling me? Yeah. All right, what's their postcode?
One's Maryland, E15.
It's plastered in Newham.
All right, one's from E15.
Ooh,
wait.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So you've given me Dave. You give me Huss. You give me Kano. If you can't give me more than two rappers,
well, right?
don't bring me to Tottenham, bro.
Gets as well, right?
What'd you say?
Gets as well. Right?
Where's Gets from?
Plasto.
Is that Newham?
Yeah.
So you're telling me they're all from? I don't believe him. I'm being honest with you. All right, keep it up.
Let's wrap up.
All right, cool.
Let's
Sorry.
wrap up, let's
I'll
wrap up,
keep
let's
it back. I
continue
don't
afterwards,
believe
yeah.
the
We'll
word.
continue after.
Daniel's a liar. I just want the people to know. But go ahead.
Boy, well, I mean, shit. Project's out. You're due to perform live as well, aren't you?
Headline in 2 days.
2 days, yeah. So by the time this comes out, I would have been and gone. So
where you headlining?
Best of luck for that as well.
Thank you very much.
He asked where you're headlining.
Oh, Peckham Audio.
Oh, swear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be lit.
That's a nice venue, man.
Sold out as well, right?
Yeah.
Ah, come on.
Ah, that's wavy. I can't. I was gonna pull up, but that's wavy.
People believe in the message, man.
Yeah, no, honestly, thank you to everyone that's listening on this journey as well. That's crazy.
You're a very assured live performer as well. Like, you don't do too much, but you very much grip the crowd. So, yeah,
you know what it is? I just need to stop losing my voice, bro. Because by the last 2 songs, I keep losing my voice, and I'm done with that now.
Salute, man. Salute.
Trying to see me do part 2, then no one wants that, man. So, try to, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Piece of ginger.
Yeah. My advice then would be, if you're gonna do all of Bezel live, maybe do that live.
I need to hear Bezel.
Maybe that'd be one of the first songs.
I need to hear Bezel live, bro.
Oh shit. So no one knows this. So I'm doing. I've never done Smile live before, so I'm doing Smile first, and then I'm doing.
Swear.
Oh, sweet.
So, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's gonna be a
That'd be
live,
nice.
man.
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah, man.
Seeing as you're the herbal
I'm
enthusiast,
away. I'm embarrassed.
what instructions would you give to
Cool.
So, but best of luck, man. Best of luck. Best of luck. But yeah, man. Shit. I ain't got nothing else. You guys got anything else?
Nah, man. It's big up. Thank you.
Nah,
for
man. I appreciate you, bro. Honestly, I appreciate
Yeah,
you.
I've enjoyed
this.
this. It's dope, man.
I appreciate you, man. I
man.
appreciate you. And this was my introduction to you. This tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, fuck with it. I was like, fuck with it a lot.
Fact. I do have one more question. What does success look like to you? What does future success look like to you?
Just like I really just keep striving and I think just keep excelling and just being happy with myself. Really, yeah.
So
contentment.
I'm just bare thankful for the thing, but I think there's so many like the heights that I want to go to. Like it's again, sky's the limit. Or like
Inshallah, man.
100%.
Yeah, we came with a Farrakhan question at the end, fam.
Got to sometimes, man.
Someone asked me that recently. I did the longest pause. I was there like, for like I think it was like a Clash interview or something. I just like longest pause. I was just like, oh, this is deep. But again, it's just like, yeah. I like again. I see this thing. I see this thing being mine. Like I know where I'm going. I know where the music's going. So.
Well, that's what I appreciate of you, man. You're very thoughtful. Like very, very thoughtful. Very, very measured. Like anything you say and anything you do is with purpose. So. Anytime you might have to think for a long time, it's positive. It's positive because you could be that person that kind of just says anything and it's word vomit. It doesn't really mean anything. Yeah. You, no, man. You mean what you say. You say what you mean. So
it's like 30-second pause. Everyone's just like,
oh, for sure.
It's necessary,
though,
though, man.
They will wait. You are the subject. They will wait, man. They will wait. So yeah, man. I mean, obviously we've known each other for a while, but to see where you were and see what you've become now, yeah, man. You're going places, man. And I think you're one for the future. You're one for the present. And long may it continue, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for coming down, man.
man.
Thank you for coming down, man. But yeah, we're going to wrap up for another episode of Rhymes Like Dimes. Boys, shout-outs.
Big up Cleo Soul. Big up Inflow. All day, every day. Erica Badu. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah, man.
Tell us the story when she floated last time. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's a story for another day, man.
I ain't got no one to shout out, man. Shout out to the Battle on the Roofers for having me on the last episode. Appreciate you, man.
Shout out to Battle on the Roof.
Oh, yeah. Big up.
You was on Crate, right?
I was on Crate the other day, yeah.
Yeah, so salute to Crate as well. Salute to Crate. Salute to the Roofers.
Big up Bill Collector as well.
Hey, man, Bill Collector, stop being so emotional, man. You're not top 3. It's not the end of the world. You're about top 50.
Shit.
Yeah, top 50 battle rappers. That's respect.
Not too bad.
You're not too bad.
Not too bad.
He's below Ines.
Who's Ines?
He was signed to Bad Boy once upon a time.
Why do you know that?
Because he was on Making of the Band.
He was in the making. He got sent to run for Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
He got sent to get a cheesecake.
Oh, okay.
Diddy told
Yeah,
him
yeah,
run.
he's part of that
the
collective.
famous?
Yeah.
Because
They should have got the cheesecake. I can't.
Bruv,
I would
Diddy-
got the cheesecake.
Did he
I
made
ain't
it?
gonna lie.
Yo, they
I
might
would've
have to
got
go.
the
They
cheesecake,
might have to go
man.
get a cheesecake. Was it walk over Brooklyn Bridge?
I would, yeah, bro.
Yeah,
I would
they
have got
have
the
to
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
No.
Someone put the map on Twitter. Did you see that?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen
shit
that.
was
I've seen that. I've seen it.
jokes. It was like, you want to walk where?
Nah, Diddy used to violate them, but salute to the Roofers, man.
For sure. Daniel, any shout outs you want to make?
Yeah, goddamn, man.
Had to ask. But yeah, shout out everybody, man.
Yeah,
Shout
big
out
up, man.
everyone that was
Shouts to
involved in When Life Presents Obstacles.
Always,
Shout out Colin.
definitely.
Shout out
Max
Helena.
Frith,
Shout out Max Frith.
100 Keener, Jim Reed, T Henny, Dylan, man, Jakari, hella people.
The wonderful actors in the Grime video. Big up.
Word 7
Gina.
videos.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man.
Shout out all the people in the videos.
Salute to everyone in the video.
Worthy.
Salute to
Hey,
everyone.
man.
Again,
Worthy.
appreciate you for coming, bro.
Yeah.
For
Honestly,
sure. And shout out to everybody for listening and watching as well. Damn, we're approaching the end of the year. I think we've only got one more for the year's out.
Yeah,
Is it a wrap up?
I think it's the wrap
It's
up.
the wrap up coming.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Boy, been a hell of a year. So
Yeah,
looking
man.
forward to chopping that one up.
Some fun debates
But,
pending.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, until next time, we will see you very, very soon. Take care. Stay safe. Stay blessed. And peace.
Stay black.
Oh, but when I say it, it's a problem. Yeah?
Are you going to keep that?
Yes.